Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Homebrew. Thanks for sticking with us or hanging out or doing whatever you're doing. We appreciate you doing you. We're doing us over here. And you know.
You're not doing me. So
and you're doing you. No, you're doing you. I'm doing me. We're separate, yet together. And that's what I like about Dr. Homebrew, and people like 5 Star, our fine title sponsor, the main sponsor of this show, 5 Star Chemicals. You can go to 5starchemicals.com. While I hit the cough button so you can't hear me cough, you can learn all about what it means to clean and sanitize your brewing equipment. I'll tell you, everybody who comes on the show gets a nice little price pack from 5 Star, and they really know what they're doing as far as making chemicals to help you produce better beer, and it really, really works. I remember, my first few batches, I didn't really get the cleaning, sanitizing thing, and Gusher City, dude, like, from bottling. Yeah. It was insane. It was insane. It's crazy what happens if you just follow directions.
No, and the brewers I know that know their ass from a hole in the ground have an always on hand spray bottle of Star San. That's how you walk into a brewery. You don't know if you haven't tasted their beer, you don't know if they're a good brewer or not. You see the spray bottle of Star San, and you know
I
they're
got
good.
One of those.
You
You have to have them, man. I mean, I'm fermenting an oatmeal stout right now, and it's in a 2.5 or 3 gallon carboy, and maybe I filled up a little bit too high. Anyway,
probably doesn't have it.
The Krausen's coming up through the thing, and I'm like, shit, where's my spray bottle? I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I like hose it off like with water, and then put it back in, and we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I like that. I don't know, the safety of just the security feeling of like, this is now a clean air. This has been nuked, and it's now a clean area.
Spray your cake poppets, spray the fittings, spray everything.
I usually just bathe in this stuff, honestly.
Yes.
I just dip myself in Star San.
He's bigger than the spray bottle. He's got a whole bathtub.
Dude, like one of the reps he'll go around, he'll make up like a pint solution and just fucking drink it. He'll go, look, it's safe, and he'll drink it. I'm like, even if it's safe, because it is. I couldn't. I don't think my stomach could handle that, because my mind would go, that wasn't food, that was liquid with chemicals in it, and what did you just do? And my anxiety would take over.
I wonder what it tastes like. It does have a faint, kind of pleasant smell to it. It's got a little fruity, interesting smell to it.
It's so weird, dude.
Sounds like the next Dr. Homebrew is we actually judge Star San.
Somebody says bottle, pour it.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
straight white
30-point
foam.
sour beer.
Oh.
I think that'd be amazing. Okay, we have 2 beers for you today. We have a beer from Ryan, who's in the studio. We always like in-studio guests. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. And then we will have Eric here around, about half an hour or so. What beer did Ryan bring, and what beer did Eric bring?
It's a specialty IPA. I'm glad you asked. Let's let Ryan tell us what it is.
Ryan, what the fuck did you bring?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just was thinking, how many adjectives can I attach to a beer to basically mess with you guys?
Yeah.
So I'm calling this my Session Northeast Vermont style Cascadian Dark Ale.
You're a piece of shit.
I know. Or you could just call it a Session Black IPA, but I guess that's not a whole lot better if you think about it. But I don't know. I guess I'm just like trying to like
Say it again.
Oh, God, don't make me do it.
I'm doing it.
Session Northeast Vermont style Cascadian Dark
Pass me
Ale.
that can, would you please? Okay.
But wasn't the word juicy in the title also?
The word juicy is in there, yes. Juicy is an operative word. I don't know, man. I guess I'm, being a West Coast kid and going to school on the East
Juicy
Coast.
McBooty.
Juicy
Northeast
McBooty.
Vermont style Session Cascadian Dark Ale. 4.5%, 80 IBUs, infinite haze.
Well, yeah, the rationale there is, can you really tell that a black beer is hazy? Like,
No.
I almost kind of feel like you can get over a little bit of your trepidation there by...
I use my my phone's flashlight and saw the haze. So any real beer drinker would not do that, I would hope. But any judge that had to judge a beer with such a stupid descriptor would actually do that.
Well, and the label has a picture of Tasty in his I don't know. I love his cartoon. I love his cartoon because it's like very clearly from 60 years ago. But yeah, and he has this big old ass, and he's farting out a bunch of fruit.
Yeah,
right.
So,
yeah, that's all the juicy tones there, boys.
Yeah.
So what about instead of calling it a Cascadian a dark ale, call it like a North Appalachian dark ale or something like that? Would that work better?
I guess
Cascadian, I just associate with the Northwest.
Just get more snooty about it.
I don't know.
We also are drinking some commercial beer from that Bent Paddle that
the black
guy sent last time. It's good beer, dude.
It's like it tastes like a
chocolatey,
good
but
robust porter.
Yeah,
territory there. Yeah,
it's tasty. I like it. You know what else I like is Nico Brew. From right now until whenever, you can go to, I think it's pro.nicobrew.com. Let me see. Yeah, pro.nicobrew.com. That's Nico Brew's wholesale website, but you don't need to be a professional brewer or a homebrew shop in order to purchase anymore. So you can get 44-pound boxes of hops. So if you have a homebrew club or if you're brewing a shit ton, check it out, pro.nicobrew.com. Buy a box of hops, dude. Like, seriously, get your homebrew club in on that right now.
A box of hops that weighs more than my kid.
Right?
Awesome.
I think it'd be great. I mean, you can parcel it down. Someone out there somewhere has a vacuum sealer, or just brew a bunch of IPAs, man. You roll the thing down, tape it down, put it in the freezer. It'll be fine. Pro.nicobrew.com. But I think it's pretty cool. You no longer need to be a commercial brewery to order on the pro side. You can order bulk hops, which I think a lot of people are after. I tell you, these Sierra Nevada pins, I've thrown 2 away in the last hour because you use them a couple times and then they just explode. I thought I'd share that with you guys.
They're made out of paper.
They are made out of paper. Okay, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to drink some juicy
McBooty.
Juicy McBooty. All right. It's what is it? It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang on. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. Now, back to the examination.
I didn't. It's Dr. Homebrew. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. You know those like burps that get stuck? and you're like, oh, I think I'm going to, and then it just kind of get stuck around the middle of your chest, and then it just doesn't happen, and you're like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. It's like shaking hands with like a loose, sweaty-handed man, like a clammy hand. You're like, oh, it's uncomfortable.
I think only old men feel that way. I'm not sure I've actually felt that way myself.
You've never felt that?
Never.
Oh, I don't believe you.
I mean, I've had farts like that.
Gray beard.
All right, we are here with Ryan and the Juicy McBooty. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, dude. How are you?
I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out and hanging in there. Before we get to your beer, how long have you been homebrewing? What's going on in your homebrewing world to make this fucking crazy concoction of crap?
So I've been brewing for a little bit over 4 years at this point, and I don't know, living out on the East Coast, you certainly see a lot of beers like this popping up, especially in recent years, so I just thought I would take a little crack at it, you know.
What do you mean like this?
Well, maybe not like this exactly, but certainly like the whole like hazy, juicy type deal is super prevalent.
Really? Because it's catching on like wildfire out here.
No, it totally is. I mean, I am kind of a fan, to be honest. Like, I went to Hill Farmstead.
You can get out now, but that's fine. I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you.
Quit beating up our West Coast IPAs, man.
How were they out there?
Pretty good. I went to Hill Farmstead for my 30th, and it just sort of blew me away with the stuff you can get out there.
Okay. How does it compare to the hazy crap out here?
I don't think I've had the hazy crap out here
There's
yet.
some on tap, but you're probably trying to escape it.
Yeah. I mean, when in Rome,
Right. Well, soon, man. Okay, because I've had a couple, and I don't get it. Aside from how it looks, I don't understand it. It doesn't sit well with me. But I've had one from the East Coast, the heady topper.
Yeah.
Anything else I haven't had except just West Coast stuff. So I'm just curious to see how it compared.
I mean, you kind of don't really like the IPAs so much, or the high alcohol IPAs at least.
Yeah, right? but I'll still try them.
Sure.
I'm still curious as to what's going on. I know there's a field work one on here.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's the flavors I don't understand, but it's not bad.
I feel like it's anything else. Some are just better than others. You just gotta know which ones to try.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't consider myself an expert in the matter, but I've had some that I like Lawson's does a really good one. Sunshine. I like that a lot more than Heady Topper myself.
So is this the first Northeast Vermont style session Cascadian Dark Ale you ever made?
To be honest, no. I first brewed a beer like this earlier in the fall, and it basically got trashed in competition because, I mean, I'm sure you guys know. What
do you put it in, right? Or you're putting it in specialty, right?
Yeah, specialty. But IPA is kind of a category of extremes, so anything like session is not going to be received very well.
No.
And I'm pretty sure the guys that wrote my score sheet were drunk because, in the aroma column, they're like, no hop aroma. Then they were like, medium hop aroma, in the same paragraph. So I'm just like, dude, this guy's trash.
Dude,
he has no idea.
That's one of the reasons I started this show is that because you get a lot of that on fucking sheets where you be clear.
Right.
So if we're ever unclear, or the guys are ever unclear, I'm always clear as a lake. Then you can ask them.
No, totally.
So
that's kind of why I wanted to come on
be
too.
Prepared.
Because I thought you guys might not have 5 triple IPAs before you have mine.
No, barley wine.
That's what we had. Wheat wine and Doppelbocks. And, we take all that shit.
Yeah, sure.
And been taking bong rips. So,
you're fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I guess I already knew that. But
tastes like charcoal. All right, Brian. Well, why don't you dive into this exploratory, soon to be the hot new style in 20 years?
Yeah. So,
doubt it.
First thing I have to say about this beer is. No hop aroma.
Of course.
Medium hop aroma, actually.
Okay.
Upgrade
to medium.
I just wanted to be dumb. No, it does have some real pleasant hop notes right up front. Tropical, some citrus zest, a bit of resiny and pine. It's really fresh smelling and pungent. Which, for a dark IPA is a pleasant and welcome thing. Like I was telling Keith, if you close your eyes and smell this beer, you wouldn't know necessarily that it was a black IPA. Has a low malty aroma that's just kind of out of the way. Nothing roasty. That's the hardest thing for, when you're doing a dark IPA is getting just a hint of roast will just kill it for you. Only a faint chocolate, a little hint of some toast maybe, but not anything bordering on roasty even. Had medium high fruity esters, and while it's also somewhat hard to discern from the fruity hops, but it seems like there's some nice fruity esters in there playing along with them. No DMS or diacetyl. It's cleanly brewed. Appearance wise, dark brown, has bordering on black. It's not quite black, and that's fine when you get. But if you look at it, it's like there's a nice dark beer. Yeah. Has a light haze. I didn't get a huge amount of haze in the sample we judged earlier.
But it's definitely there.
Yeah, there's a bit of haze.
Yeah.
It has a low beigeish head that fades to a collar in our glassware here anyway, pretty quickly. But flavor-wise, I like the flavor a lot. Medium maltiness, and here the malt kind of came out a little more in the flavor. So I'm getting all hops in the aroma. And then you start tasting this milk chocolate and like bread crusts kind of thing, which is pretty cool with it. Again, no roast, but and the hops do shine above that. It's just it's like, oh, there's some maltiness to this, and that's kind of nice. But it's dry, so it doesn't come across as too sweetly malty at all. It's just a nice drinkable IPA with a nice dry finish. The hops are, again, tropical and citrusy, and a lot of dank in there too. Clean ale fermentation, obvious. Just nice that it finishes appropriately dry, and it's definitely balanced to the hops, which linger with that a little bit of that chocolate in the aftertaste. Mouthfeel wise, I like it medium dry to dry with a medium carbonation, pushing up some of those flavors. The body's pretty light, which is nice, but it's not watery at all. So sometimes you get too light, and then it's just especially with a session beer. I'm drinking water.
What was that again? It was the
yeah.
I think it's more high. It was more wah.
It just slips off your tongue, and there's nothing substantial there. So anyway, you have to call our sound effects guy because I just have to do this all on my own. There's no hazard pay here. Clean and crisp. It's enjoyable to drink and refreshing.
Yeah.
There's no astringency in the way here. It's just, dries off the tongue, but still, and despite how light bodied it is, it's substantial enough that the bitterness lingers on your tongue, and it's, not harsh or rough in any way to me. So, it hit all the marks for the black IPA, and in being in session strength, it's actually kind of subtle. It tastes to me like that'd be a nice Cascadian dark ale, and it has so much to keep the interest. The alcohol isn't really missed all that much. I mean, you can tell, it's not an alcohol bomb. It's not an 8%. It's not even 6%. It's just you're not getting the big alcohol aroma that you would get, but the hops shine out enough that it's nice and juicy as advertised. Just
Cool.
Don't show Tasty the label, I guess.
Oh, I already texted it to him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'll put it on the website too for the post for this page.
It might be a faction. I give it a 38. And I like the beer a lot.
Cool. It's good sport. Thanks, dude.
All right, man. You're up, Keith.
It's a good cop, bad cop time. So, and I'll be the good cop. I'm kidding.
I gave it a 13, and here's why.
55 actually.
The first 55-point beer.
Yeah, it goes beyond. But anyway, obviously big hop aroma. I got herbal. I got some Granny Smith apple. Not obviously not acetaldehyde, but also tropical. I did find a hint of roast or chocolate hiding behind all the hops. Sometimes when I smell a lot of hops, I get some phenols, but the more I smelled it, the less I thought that was actually happening. And in flavor, proved that otherwise, that it is a very clean beer. Appearance, dark brown, not truly black. I was going to give it a 2, but it was not hazy enough, damn it. It's supposed to be a Vermont style in New England, and I used my flashlight, and it's just not hazy enough.
It's not hazy. So,
yeah, so you failed there. 2 points you failed there.
I should lose 2 points there at least.
You did, so
okay,
yeah. Moving on from there, big hop flavor, tropical again, maybe a little bit of green pepper flavor too. Herbal again, great hop flavor in general. I think one of the I'll keep going over this and probably later as well, but the lack of any onion, garlic, sometimes that is derived from the hops that you get, but there was none of that at all. So it was really, really pleasant that way. Just a little bit of roast, if any. Little bit of vegetable character just from the hops. There's a lot of hops in there. For me, and this will go back to the overall impression again, I'm just going to jump in, sort of intertwine my comments here, but it reminded me of tasting a beer that was freshly dry hopped and not fully ready to be consumed yet. I got a little bit of spiciness when I was drinking it that burned the back of my throat a little bit, and that kind of goes along with mouthfeel as well. But otherwise, like, really clean in terms of fermentation. I thought there was not any issues there at all. Medium body, medium carbonation. It said, we didn't even think about this when we were judging it, but it says 80 IBUs. I would really doubt that it really tastes like 80 IBUs. It's very.
I mean, that's calculated.
Yeah, it's kind of subtle in its IBU. I'd be interested in talking about the water somewhat here too, because I'm not getting a lot of bitterness, which is actually nice. Because with a session IPA, you don't want a ton of harshness, or even a black IPA as well. I could easily see that turning into something that would be kind of rough to drink. None of that at all. So that was really pleasant. Overall, really an aggressively hopped beer. Love that about it. I wish it had a little more sweetness, and I know that's probably asking you to push it probably a little bit outside the session style. I think for me, just having the dark malt and having a session IPA with all these hops, I think just having a little more sweetness would make it a little bit more pleasant. And but overall, I think a really good job with the beer. And for me, like I kind of mentioned, kind of like the burning sensation from kind of like almost like a freshly hopped beer was the only really big detractor there. And probably just a little more balance. There's certain things that you do, like for specialty beers, like you mix two ingredients and you're like, yeah, that's this sounds great to me. Then you mix them and you're like, yeah, it's okay. So like a session black IPA to me seems like something that isn't the best mix of things that could possibly happen. I'd rather have a full blown black IPA, and maybe even Tasty McDole's ass even bigger on the label. But yeah.
In the world of IPAs these days, you have to figure something out to stand out, right?
Something out? What did you say?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I would argue with the making it more sweet comment, because I think that the dryness is key to the style, and you want it to dry off on your tongue like it does. But yeah, maybe something else in the balance could be played with.
Well, I think the key to the style, I mean, you're right for a session. I think it's done well for a session, but I think that there's certain things that don't work well as a session.
You're talking about alcohol sweetness, maybe?
Alcohol sweetness as well. But yeah, if it's a full-blown IPA, you're going to have other things that are going to balance the dryness and the hops. And I think that's where I'm going. Not so much like, hey, make this beer sweeter, but not a bunch of crystal or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing I could add to this beer to make it even more annoying is add lactose. Because like Tired Hands in Philadelphia has a line of milkshake IPAs that I've never actually had, so I guess I can't really talk too much smack about it.
Yeah.
But they throw all kinds of junk in there to get it super sweet and super hazy, like lactose. Like apple puree to give some pectin haze. They throw flour in there.
Yeah.
I've never had it. My boss recently went over and had some. He said it was terrible and he couldn't finish it. But
it has to be. But I mean, people are buying it, so what do I?
Right. Yeah,
Three Floyds has been I think maybe 5-10 years ago. Three Floyds is putting lactose in some of their IPAs as well, and it's like, what? Why? I don't understand this.
Seems like the opposite of what you would want to do, but what do we know? We're
just.
But I mean, IPAs are drifting. It's interesting, and I'll be curious to see where the guidelines go with them next, because like the IBUs are dropping. Like the classic IPA had so much bitterness in it, and then these new IPAs started coming out, and it was just all citrusy hops in the old days, and some twists here and there. But then the more modern kind of tropical hops, and the dank, and the resiny, and the garlic, and all that stuff. Pliny was like the penultimate triumph of that. It seems like it's just like boom, here's a double IPA, and then they started making triple IPAs and just went off the rail. They're just bigger, bitter, more harsh, and more alcohol. And then these guys started putting out like lower alcohol, like session IPAs with a lot of hop aroma in it, and pulling the bitterness back a little bit. And I live in Livermore. The guys at Altamont do this. They pull it's a little more restrained. I mean, they do have higher alcohol beers, of course, too, but some of the earlier stuff they did was like mellower, like session strength beer with a lot of hops in it. And it's like, I think that it's starting to drift that way. And then, of course, there's the weird Vermont people doing their thing. But
who knows? Keep it.
There's some great examples of it, but you can take it to too much of an extreme.
Did you drop a score?
Oh no, sorry, 34. And for some reason, when you're talking about the guidelines, what they're doing next, and it'll be a while. I can envision Gordon in a flop house somewhere wearing like a wife beater with a gun to his head when looking at the IPAs, just ready to blow his brains out.
Oh my god, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, he'll put out an IPA guideline and then a regular guideline.
It'll have mead spilled all over his wife beater too. It'll be like chugging mead while it happens. So
yeah.
Good. Ryan, you want to give the recipe for this?
Yeah, sure.
This thing?
I can run through that.
Okay. I think people will be interested.
Yeah, well, at least in one half of the country. All right, so for 6 gallons, what I got here is 6 1/4 pounds of Golden Promise, 3 pounds of malted oats, 1 pound of Midnight Wheat, and 1 pound of Golden Naked Oats. That all gets mashed at 155 for an hour. And then it's pretty simple hop build, half an ounce rather of CDZ first wort, and then from there basically just flame out hops, just 3 ounces of Mosaic, 2 ounces of Citra, 1 ounce of Eldorado, and then whirlpool that for half an hour, ferment with London Ale 3 from Y yeast, and then the dry hopping is 2 ounces of Citra and Mosaic and 1 ounce of Eldorado, and I added those hops just as fermentation was dying down, basically, to get a little bit biotransformation action that people are talking about.
Okay.
What did you mash out again?
155.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean...
And the reason for all the oats in there, just drying out...
Yeah, just trying to get a little bit of body in there. I mean, I know, like Ed Coffey has this blog, Ales of the River Wards, and he's a big fan of using malted oats in his IPAs. And I think Tired Hands does the same. Although I know Marshall recently showed that you don't necessarily have a perceptible difference with and without oats. So
on Brewlosophy?
On Brewlosophy,
okay,
yeah. So, I don't know.
I
mean, my thinking with this whole New England IPA thing is it's kind of like a combination of things. It's the water, it's the yeast, it's the hopping, and maybe some adjuncts, just to give it a little bit of body and softer bitterness as well compared to West Coast. So.
No, I tend to like oats in beer too, but sometimes like with the darker beers, you get a nice, like an oily kind of quality to the beer, like a little more body with it alongside the roast that kind of plays nicely. But this one doesn't seem excessively oily or anything like that. It's just but the malted oats is an interesting way,
yeah,
with some of the naked regular oats, Do
you have any questions for these homeboys?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting that you said it wasn't really dank because when I drank it earlier this week, it seemed like there was almost no fruit character to it at all. So I'm like, oh no, it's not juicy enough. But now I'm drinking with you guys here. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking I was drinking it too cold or something because, I don't know, like if hop character can change like in the bottle, but this isn't the same beer I was drinking back in Philly.
It'll slowly change,
it also depends on what you've been drinking and what you've been eating and all that kind of stuff. Like you just had a spicy sausage, right?
Sausage and heretic beer. So who knows?
I mean, I'm smelling dank, and I was tasting juicy, like the juicy fucking fruit.
Right,
I'm gonna say fruit because I juicy makes my stomach turn.
Yeah.
So I was getting all of those qualities. I think you were trying to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you get your Mosaic? If you don't mind asking, where did you get your Mosaic?
I ordered that from More Beer. Actually, the first time I brewed this beer, I brewed it as a Mosaic only beer because I don't know. I just sort of thought like the blueberry flavors you can sometimes get from Mosaic might go well in like a darker beer setting. I don't know. I just sort of had like chocolate covered blueberries on the mind, or like a dark fruit smoothie type deal. So I'm like, okay, let's turn that into a beer, and here we go. Then it got trashed, so I'm like, okay, round 2, I'll throw in some Citra, because, Citra is one of those, like, cheater hops. You can't go wrong if you just throw more Citra.
Right.
Your problem.
Need more Citra.
Yeah. Eldorado, I don't know. I've never played with Eldorado before.
And they were all from More Beer?
They're all from More Beer, yes. Proud sponsor, More Beer.
That's right.
Right.
And the aroma in the glass is great, man. I think it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it.
I was hoping you would, because you do like session beers, right?
Fucking love session beers, dude.
So
and this didn't taste like a session beer because it had that full mouthfeel in the middle there.
Yeah, 4.5%. I don't know. I think the only thing I might do next time is, I guess find a way to get some more body in there. I mean, through a good chunk of oats, but I don't know. Try different yeasts and whatnot.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
Yep.
Yeah, if I was forced to guess, like, okay, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, I'd be like, it's probably 5.5-ish. You know, it's it feels more substantial than it is.
It really does.
Cool. That was my goal, so thanks, dude.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for bringing the beer.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to drink some more beer. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang out. We'll be right back.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Before we get to our next client, contestant, caller, Eric, I want to tell you guys about the Brew Guru app from the AHA. It's built for homebrewers and beer lovers. It delivers sage brewing knowledge and money-saving deals at breweries, beer bars, and homebrew supply shops. The AHA has designed this powerful mobile app to help homebrewers and craft beer lovers explore the wide world of beer. With the Beer Guru, you can find deals and save money. So basically what it is, you download this app, and then wherever you are, it will tell you all the breweries and bars and homebrew shops that take the AHA discount. So it makes it really easy for you because I think that was one of the pieces of feedback. It's like, well, how am I supposed to know who has the thing? And sometimes they don't know it. This way, you put in your membership number into the app, and then you show the bartender, waitress, homebrew shop guy, like here it is. It says you get the thing. This is what it is. So it's pretty cool. Check it out. It's all over wherever you get finer apps are downloaded. I'm going to sneeze now. God damn it.
But it also tells you where there's other good beer bars, too. Like, you just get on the map and, whoa, that was a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. And then you can find places you've never even knew about. So anyway, check it out. Learn more. Homebrewersassociation.org. Mm-hmm. All right, let me call Eric here. He brewed a Doppelbock, I believe it is, right?
I gifted an AHA membership to my brother, by the way. That
nice
was my
work.
Christmas, and he got the wood book.
There you go. There you go. Through the more beer, or through the Brewing Network?
Yeah, it was before that started, I think. But yeah, he already has, Brewing Classics or the
Designing Great Beers.
Designing Great Beers.
Yeah.
So is he a brewer, or you're just trying to get the book for yourself?
No, my brother brews. Brother Jimmy.
All right, Eric, are you on the line, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Perfect. Just sitting here drinking beer. We just cracked your Doppelbock. How long have you been homebrewing? Have you brewed a Doppelbock before?
No, I haven't. So
Okay.
I've been brewing maybe about 2.5 years. That was my first and only, actually, so far, lager. So.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. What made you start with not start, but, I guess start your lagering with a Doppelbock? I think that'd be kind of daunting.
Ambitious.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I'm not a huge fan of, I guess, the lighter field of lagers. So,
basically any other lager.
yeah, well, I mean, I guess like Celebrator is a huge favorite of mine. So that was kind of the basis, although it wasn't, I didn't look up a clone recipe or anything like that. Okay.
You just kind of did it from palate memory, I suppose.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll drink your beer and see if we can help. Keith, you want to jump into this Doppelbock here, man?
Steer us out of.
Love to.
See.
So in aroma, I get dark fruit, big malt, a touch of soy sauce, no hops at all. Maybe just a small amount of paper, cardboard going on, just a touch of alcohol as well. Everything else seems very clean, not really any esters or like I mentioned, no hops before. Appearance-wise, deep brown, some red highlights, very, very clear, but not much of a head at all. Like pouring it, like there's almost nothing there. Almost looks little flat on the head there. Flavor-wise, rich malt. Balance is definitely towards sweetness, which is appropriate for style, but not overly cloying. No hop flavor. Perfect. Very clean. Some plum characteristics. Once again, getting some paper, bordering on cardboard in terms of flavor. And then as I drink it, I get a hint of sourness. So it gets a little bit tart at the end. Overall, it seems a little, for flavor-wise, it seems a little less than big enough for Doppelbock. Seems a little subdued. Mouthfeel, medium body, low warming. Carbonation's fairly medium, I would say. Probably even a little lower than that, actually. And generally okay in that realm. Overall, it's an enjoyable beer. I thought it was a little bit small or thin for this style, and I think the biggest thing for me was the tart sourness going on. Not totally sour, but just a little bit of sourness there, and then some oxidation. Wondering, I have some questions about how to improve the sourness. Initially, I'd be like, well, what's your pH, mash pH? If doing decoction, that can lower your pH as well and put you into a range where the beer, after a while aging, or even initially, can drop and give a little bit of tartness there. Also, the other obviously big flaw is head retention and just on the pour, it looks pretty lifeless. So that would be the other thing. Maybe again, question the mash there. Are you doing any rests, protein rests, decoctions, etc.? Think about possibly using some grains like carafoam or dextrin that would give you some protein that would actually keep a head. I think that's about it. I gave it a 32. Sorry.
Okay, excellent. Brian, beat that.
All right. Aroma-wise, has a pleasant maltiness up front. Had a toasty and lightly chocolatey impression. Only a very, very low hop aroma. I could get at like a faint earthiness, a little spiciness, but not very much at all. There's a very slight. I found a very slight roasty note in the nose too, and that seemed a bit out of place. But it's not heavy. It's just like a weird little roastiness in there. The alcohol seemed pretty smooth in the aroma. It was just only kind of low, medium low. I didn't get any DMS or acetol. It's very raisiny and plum-like. fruitiness, and seems clean, smoothly lagered. There's no obvious fermentation-derived esters going on. So, pretty nice aroma. Aside from a couple of slightly odd notes, but yeah, appearance-wise, it's kind of a dark. That's kind of like a light brown color to me. It's in the other glass I had, it was a little, almost like looking a little coppery, dark coppery, but it has some nice reddish highlights. And it had the sample I judged it last night at home, and the glassware I had at home had a low light tan head that persisted pretty well, actually. But this sample here is, as Keith stated, like pretty flat headwise. It just didn't really form, so I don't know.
You must have amazing glasses at home.
Yeah. Beer clean glassware. Mostly finer bubbles. And, it's quite clear. So, appearance-wise, I thought it was okay. Tonight, there's no head, but anyway, that's only a point. Flavor-wise, pleasantly malty, but it has like a vinous kind of a character to it. It's kind of wine-like. It has a raisiny, prune-like presentation. And as I was getting at that, what is making it taste like wine? I'm getting at the same light little tang that comes up at the end. It finishes kind of sweet and lightly tangy. And it has a caramel and kind of low chocolate malts in there, along with the sweetness. It's kind of, it's pleasant to drink. It's interesting. It's a big, there's some smooth alcohol there too that's keeping it interesting. The bitterness is very low and out of the way. But again, I found it slightly tangy and tart and very acidic. Water-wise, it seems like the water is fairly clean and neutral, and it's balanced to the malt as it should be, but something about the way that the acidity is playing with the malts is steering it wrong here a little bit. Not horribly wrong, just like a balance issue mostly. Mouthfeel wise, medium bodied with a low alcohol warming only. Again, that could be bigger. Low carbonation. You don't want it to be a massive carbonation when you get to this kind of strength, but a little more would be welcome. Not getting any astringency. It's not biting or harsh at all. It's actually kind of smooth and creamy a little bit. But, overall, it's a tasty beer. It misses the mark on the style a bit, especially with that wine-like fruitiness and tartness in there. You should have some raisiny quality in there, and you should have some Maillard byproducts with this. This seems to be lacking a little bit of, but the products that come up as you traditionally kind of as the malt elements get darkened, there's chemical reactions that take place that they used to call it melanoidins in the guidelines, which was easy to say. Now you have to say Maillard byproducts. But it seems like
say duck instead.
Yeah, duck.
Mallard.
Has that duck flavor. Seems like a good recipe and well brewed, just a bit off style. Be a little more pleasant if you just reduce that overall acidity. I don't know if you're acidifying sparge water or acidifying some of your water, or if your water is naturally kind of more neutral and acidic, or if there's a lot of acidic malts in there. But be sure to kind of balance that out to get to the right pH in the end. And if you're not already, do a decoction mash. Get that Maillard profile in there. Watch out, Mallard profile. Watch out using too much the chocolatey malt too, or overly fruity malts, or like some dark Munich or something. Maybe if over the top could push it into that sweet fruity malt kind of character. But it's an interesting beer. I gave it a 30. I thought it was very good. Just a little balance wise, not quite there to the style for what I expect from a prototypical Doppelbock. So be interesting to listen to what your recipe's about, though.
Yeah, do you have that, Eric? Would you mind running through that for us?
Yeah, I do, but actually a couple things first.
Okay, please.
So I guess before you had contacted me, JP, I entered several beers at local competition, Hoppy Halloween, and I knew I had kind of missed the mark, especially on the strength.
I was hoping you wouldn't until it got all 45s, you bastards.
No. But so I entered it as a Doppelbock to get kind of feedback to lean it that way, and then I also entered it as a Czech dark lager. and it actually ended up winning a gold as a Czech dark lager.
Wow! Congratulations! That's cool, man.
Yeah, thanks. So, and then the other thing. So the sourness is totally, that's at least I think on me. I do a bunch of sours, and I hadn't planned ahead quite as well as I should have on bottling day for this, and I had to grab a couple bottles that, well, more than a couple, I guess, bottles that didn't get as vigorous a cleaning as they should have, and so I actually for the show I got out a beer, and I knew I had a few that were soured. And actually, the one I popped out for the show was totally sour, totally killed the head. And so I went and got my last bottle, and that one was not at all. So I definitely got some bottle variation going on.
Man.
This samples tonight seems a little less of the tangy than I got on the one I judged at home the night before. But
and the one I had last night had no head as well. And you said the one. That's why I was making a joke about it. But you said that you had head last night, and I had no.
It was.
You had head last night. I don't know. I don't know anything about your life.
Poured fine.
I was thinking about that. But I had no head last night.
Yeah, mine. I could have. I should have taken a picture of it.
Yes.
No. Keep your home life.
Well, so I mean, I guess that's that'll that's a good lesson to learn, right? To just take the time and clean the bottles. But it doesn't taste terrible. You know, I've had some terribly contaminated beers, but it is very interesting how that plays out. What's the recipe, Eric? Hit us with that.
So started with 10 pounds of Munich, 4 pounds of two-row, just to kind of help it with some enzymes. 2 pounds of Cara 60. I was going to do a decoction mash, but again, I have a 1.5-year-old, so sometimes, like with the bottling day, my days change up a little bit. So instead of decoction, I did 2 pounds of melanoidin, and then I have 6 ounces of chocolate.
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
6 ounces of chocolate.
Okay.
And Eric, what kind of Munich was it? Was it Weyermann Munich 1, Munich 2, or a different type of Munich?
A buddy of mine quit homebrewing to start a craft beer bar, and I got a bunch of his old malts. So it was 1 pound bags of a whole bunch of different kinds of Munich.
Okay. Do you know how old that stuff was by any chance?
I think pretty old, and I did get feedback. I know you guys were saying some of the cardboardy stuff, and I got some of that feedback too from the other contest I entered it in, and I think it was probably from having older malt.
Well, you know, honestly, I think it's a cool trial, a cool experiment. There's nothing wrong with just brewing a batch of whatever you have laying around. But I think the only way to really know those flavors, if you are using old malt just in general, is to use intentionally old malt, and you just really get that flavor going. And then you might be able to pick it out. So next time you're at the homebrew shop or tasting someone else's beer, you can kind of key in on those flavors now.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Did we hit the hops at all?
No. So yeah, it was super low. 1 ounce of Hallertau at 60 and another ounce at 10 minutes.
I could see why it would do better as a Czech dark lager, though, because, I mean, some of those beers have, a little bit of this kind of sweetness like that with a little, not a heavy fruitiness like you would have in a full-on, Doppelbock. And it's, I don't know, but yeah, with the sour, the vinous quality is kind of odd, but I can see where, like this sample tonight tastes more like a Czech dark lager than a Doppelbock to me too.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on it being a little bit small, so that's interesting. Yeah, but it did have some neat malt character, and I guess maybe that is the melanoidin as well. And all the Munich that you added to it. So what kind of yeast did you use? I don't know, did we talk about that? And fermentation temperatures as well.
Nope. So I used two. Well, I grew up 2 starters from 2 smack packs of Yeast 2206, the Bavarian lager. I started it fermenting at, what do I have here, 46, and then brought it up to like 49. No, I brought it to 50 for 3 days. And then I can't read the rest of my notes.
Well, just assume you ramped it up to 100 degrees for 3 weeks, and then...
Why does it say milk water on here? I don't understand.
Yeah. Did you say when he brewed it? Like, how old was this Doppelbock? That's what I'm curious about.
Brew date was June 2nd.
Okay. Well, there's some age to
it. Interesting beer, man, for sure. I mean, and so if you had told us all this in the beginning, and then we were at like NHC, and you go, here's this beer that's 6 months old with old malt and it's contaminated. You want to try some? I would run the other way. But it doesn't taste like a lot of these things have happened. It's still a very drinkable beer, very enjoyable beer. So I think you got lucky on this one, man.
Oh yeah, I mean I have enough sense to, I guess, not put out a beer that I know is terrible. But, it was initially, like you said, just kind of an experiment. It was my first lager, so I didn't necessarily give a shit if it was old malt and all that stuff.
I think that came out fine, right? I mean, I think it's, as for lagers go, for someone's first lager. What do you guys think? I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think definitely if the other bottles were not sour like these bottles, I think it's really good. And especially, it wasn't, what you brew isn't, what you intend to brew isn't what you actually brew sometimes, So maybe it was a Trek Dark, or maybe it was a regular Bock, whatever, And I think that's it's always really a smart move to sort of adjust when you taste it and, look at the guidelines, read the guidelines. Does it taste like this? Is it big enough like this? Does it have enough body? Does it, et cetera, and then figure it out. And it sounds like you're good at doing that, which is important when you if you want to enter competitions, if you want to win more than just get feedback. I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for the guys, Eric?
Okay, so you mentioned the decoction mash. I'm just kind of wondering some other ways to get this closer to a Doppelbock. Obviously, make it a little bigger. Would you say more Munich or more two-row or...
Well, it really depends what you want. I mean, Doppelbock now, in the new guidelines, allow you to make a pale Doppelbock, which is kind of crazy. But, if you're going to do a dark Doppelbock, then you want to use a lot of Munich. And you're probably going to want to use some Munich 2. I think a good portion of that, a good portion of Munich 1. I don't know. I mean, you can look. We were talking earlier about this. Maybe it was just in studio, or maybe it was on the show. But brewlosophy saying, decoctions don't matter, but they do actually have an impact on your pH. So you got to think about that as well. And I thought that may have been an issue, but it sounds like there's other things going on with the sourness. But but I mean, I love doing decoctions. There's certain things about them that are really great. You get more efficiency with your malt when you do them. You probably do pick up some flavor. I think Melanoid does taste a little fake sometimes. But I would looking at using Munich 2, a good portion of Munich 2, maybe a good portion of Munich 1, and then some good Pils malt, and do a good boil with that is what I'd recommend. I think other than that, making a big enough beer is the one thing. Like, the beer felt like a little thin, so making the full size of the beer, and I think you have lagering down. I thought that wasn't picking up a lot of ester.
Yeah.
So
that part of it seemed right.
What was the yeast again? I'm sorry.
The Bavarian lager, he said.
Oh, yeah, 2206, which translate White Labs to anyone?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Someone should know this. I love A33. I think White Labs A33 is like the Eyinger strain is my favorite Bock yeast strain. I think it actually is called. but it is the Bock yeast strain. But I think that's great. But 2206 can work as well. So that's Bavarian, which is looking.
I think Brian's feverishly looking it up, but
I should know
WLP 350. No, that's Weizen. Bavarian lager 920. Old Bavarian lager yeast.
So it's something that you can't even get anyway. No, I think it's a good strain. You should use that then. Does that help? I'm not sure that was.
Yeah, no, that helps.
I agree though that the decoction makes a difference, and it's a pain in the ass, but do it for those really big German lagers, and any Bock, any Bock, you need it.
I would not hesitate also to boil for like 2 hours for a Doppelbock. get a little more caramelization in the kettle is not a bad thing for a Doppelbock. So that's something else to consider doing. Don't just don't just do 60 minutes.
Like Keith said, the melanoid and malt is kind of a cheat, but you could throw some of that in there too if you don't have time, and just see if it helps your beer.
I think it's small though. It kind of sticks out like a sore thumb sometimes. Like honey malt.
I wouldn't go too heavy with it. Yeah, honey malt.
You had 2 malts last time. 2 pounds last time. I think that sometimes it seems like maybe that's what you said, but I think that's kind of rough. Sometimes when you put a lot like that in there, it does kind of stick out a little bit.
Yep.
Is that covered, Eric? You got anything else you want to hit?
Yeah, no. I guess now that I guess the main thing I was concerned about being my first lager was whether or not that went properly. So, I guess now that at least I have that aspect of it, I can, take a little more time on my, ingredients and stuff like that. So, and the process, set the time aside to do the decoction and whatnot.
Or twist the recipe towards even more Czech dark lager, do it.
That might be no diacetyl either, which is great. Yeah,
that might be your wheelhouse, man.
It's really good lager.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, Eric, thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Have fun. Happy brewing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's cool. Here's a Doppelbock, but it's a Czech dark lager. Gold medal. Love it. Yeah. I think that shit's hilarious.
We gave it to you in the sour bottles.
That's so good. It's so good, man. I love it. Okay, so we have some things to give away, but before we do that, let's talk about water real fast. More specifically, the iDip, the Smart Brew water testing kit. Revolutionary photometer system. You guys know that by now. It's perfect for home or commercial use. You don't need to just use it in your home brewery. If you are a commercial brewer, listen to this show. Why wouldn't you? You can definitely use an iDip, that's for sure. It's the only meter on the market that runs water tests with no math. Nobody likes math. Ryan, you're a smart guy. You don't like math.
I definitely don't like math. I'm a biologist. We don't do math.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't do math. You nerds even have nerds to do math.
I have a master's in English, and I love math. Math is one of my favorite. I almost had a minor.
Hold on, I can't hear Keith anymore. Everybody hates
calculator,
math.
and that's what doesn't mind math.
The iDip pairs with Bluetooth and updates your water results to your own personal water profile, and then you can email that. You can post it on Facebook. You can get your own homebrew club and give all the water information to them. Have 40 different water quality test kits. 4 come preloaded already on the machine. You can test for total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfates, and more. With only 4 mils of water for each test. And so you can go to smartbrewkit.com and save $10 on either kit by using code TBN10. That's TBN10. Hit it up, smartbrewkit.com. If you ever wondered about your water, man, now's the time. Now's the time to do it and do it right. All right. I love crunching paper.
Yeah.
So good.
If you need some math done, just, say, hey, Siri.
Well, now I do need math done because we have a $40 gift certificate to Grog Tag to give away. And who does that go to, Brian? You're the keeper
Grog
of the
Tag?
math. The keeper of the knowledge.
Goes to Eric. He gets the Grog Tag.
Eric, all right, man.
He's going to make that,
dude. $40.
Czech dark Doppelbock a winning-looking beer.
Yeah.
And it is a winning beer.
And Ryan doesn't get shit.
Nope, I'm a loser.
So
he gets to hang out with us.
You're one of our off shows.
Some good beer too. We just cracked that Indeed the rum barrel aged stout there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Man. We're opening all these beers. Yes,
it's not bad. The stout's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, we are. Are we ready to go? No. See, normally we'd be giving away the beer bug. We gave away the beer bug on the last show, but for those of you guys who want to know all about the beer bug, go to beerbug.com. It's a really cool device, man. It lets you know exactly what your gravity is on your fermenting beer. It's pretty cool. Beerbug.com. Check them out. It's all wireless. It has its own little app. You can check it anywhere. Know when your beer starts fermenting. Know when it's high krausen. Know when it's dying down. Know when it's done. You don't have to pull hydrometer readings or any of that kind of stuff. Check it out.
Wake up in the middle of the night and you see that your meat has hit 10, 12 and you want to bottle it, you're
ready to go.
Bottling meat at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I still want to borrow the beer bug to do the meat I'm going to do soon.
Yeah.
Metafoam and some carrot honey and all that sort of fun stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. It's been Dr. Homebrew. This is our first show of 2017. That's weird that it feels oddly enough like 2016 did.
We're in the future.
Yes.
We're in the past recording an episode for the future by talking about by living in the past. I don't know what the fuck.
Do turkey legs still exist?
We're all fucked up over here.
I'm just commenting on JP's.
Is it 2017 in Vermont yet? Because that's all that matters.
It might be. I don't know. The future is hazy.
Still cloudy, yes.
True.
It's across the international haze line.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It's been Dr. Homebrew. Bye.